I have the internet weather for this week, and I'd like to start with our top 10 most probe ports report. So as you know, we're always measuring activity on the internet as it relates to different cyber threats. And one of the best way to measure different cyber threats is to look at port scanning activity to really understand what do adversaries seem to be interested in today or this week, and how is that different from last week. So this report kind of breaks down the common ports that are being scanned for, and it's ranked here by volume of scanning activity. So there's no surprises here on this chart. It's things that we see every week. Obviously Telnet is something that everyone is interested in. There's a lot of scanning on that. There's SMB, ICMP backscatter, SQL, port 80, SSH, all normal things. And even 8545 TCP, I decided to talk about it this week because I haven't covered it for a while. We have covered it in the past on ThreatTraq, but I just want to give you a little bit of an update of what that activity looks like this week. So before I do that, I just want to show you another way to look at scanning activity is by the number of IP addresses kind of concurrently scanning all at once. And we study this in order to understand, is there any botnet behavior or bot-like behavior out there? What are adversaries interested in from service perspective? So we have at the top spot here, 445 TCP, which is SMB file share. It's related to a variety of vulnerabilities over the years, and the fact that there is thousands of IP addresses scanning for this port every hour is no surprise. We cover that again every week on the internet weather. And really, as you look at this list, there's not many changes. These are all ports we've looked at before. So without further ado, I want to kind of show you the latest on the activity against 8545 TCP. So here I have for you on the top is the number of probes. That is, how many scan flows there are against this port. These are in millions, so you could see that there's between 50 or 70 million flows per hour that are being observed. And then if you look at how many IP addresses are engaging in this, there's actually not a lot. So if you look carefully here, you'll notice that there's the baseline here is like 25 or so IP addresses generally per hour that are doing this, with some areas where it'll be like maybe 400 or 500 IP addresses all at once. So for those of us who probably might have forgotten what is port 8545 TCP, I always kind of like to go and look at both our honeypot and I guess just Google and searching for this port and understanding what it is. Now we have covered this before, but this is basically Ethereum. So Ethereum is a cryptocurrency. People, there's a wallet that goes along with it to keep track of your your cryptocurrency, and it opens up port 8545 TCP. And if you're not careful and you expose that to the internet, adversaries might actually be able to connect to you and then potentially steal your Ethereum locked cryptocurrency. And so this is what's happening. So there's this group that's been doing it already for years. Some of these articles are from 2017. So you could see that basically, the activity has been going on for at least 3 or more years. There's at least some adversaries looking for these and possibly trying to steal cryptocurrency. So just looking at this, as always, and as with any of the ports, it's important to understand your exposure of your services on the internet. You might decide to make sure you're like scanning externally against your IP address space, or using services that probably already collect this information, just to understand if you are having firewall rules that maybe you didn't intend to have. This is just one example of something that can go wrong and how you could potentially lose your cryptocurrency. I don't know if you can say hard-earned cryptocurrency, but definitely the bits and bytes of your PC had to compute and crunch. So I think that's it for the Internet weather this week, and hope you enjoyed the update.
So who do you call when your cryptocurrency is stolen, Stan? Is that an FBI thing? Or?
That is interesting. Yeah, I don't know who you call. Definitely not Ghostbusters. But I think for crimes of where, crosses federal boundaries and things like that on the Internet, actually FBI is probably the most appropriate place for reporting Internet crimes in general. So if you have been victimized, I think if you go to the FBI.gov website, there are links and references there that will take you to, proper locations to file a report. I know FCC as well for communications. They also have like a scam reporting portion of their site where you can go and report any kind of scams. A lot of it is if you've gotten like a call on the phone where they tell you, hey, we're offering you some service. So FCC takes those, but they'll take cybercrime like this as well. And I think even AT&T has a link where they have all these resources available at the AT&T.com site in the customer section. So.
There is an interesting point, Stan. I think that, if you have cryptocurrency, it behooves you, especially, like we all talk about security, but this is like another level of security. And for whatever reason that you decide to keep your wealth in cryptocurrency, that, obviously not opening yourself up to scanning.
I think that's a very important point because, with hard currency, we all understand you got to hide it. You don't want to walk around with your money showing out of your pockets. I think everyone knows that. At least you should put it in your wallet. But most people know you got to take it to a bank where it'll be secure. You put it under your mattress, wherever. But with cryptocurrency, I think you're right. Most people don't understand the hygiene that you have to have in order to properly protect yourself. Is there a bank for cryptocurrency? And a lot of it is because it's such a it's been around for a few years now, but relatively new as a medium for currency. How do you protect yourself? And it's really personal responsibility, I think, for most people, to find out how to secure yourself. How does the technology work? Where is your money stored? Who can take it and who can basically steal it? Because you definitely don't want to be, a victim of something like this, where you think you have like a nest egg, and then you suddenly become victimized.
Well, ultimately, I think that's going to drive some interesting developments in the end user community space, because while some people are going to, take action to be personally responsible and learn how to secure their own local area network, I don't see that being the majority of people. I think that really what things like this, if you start to see broad adoption at the consumer level of cryptocurrency as a legitimate monetary resource, that you're going to start to see some solutions come to market that are going to, purport to be turnkey security solutions for home networks to take that burden of responsibility off of comparatively non-technical end users.
I really am looking forward to that time, because actually it's related to all computing. I even think about my own home network and how everyone has become like a network administrator all of a sudden, which, in everybody's home network, they have probably, definitely dozens of devices. I think maybe, some people might even have hundreds of devices without realizing it, and they all have to be managed and protected. And I think you're right. For most people, it's not going to be like an easy thing to do. And I am looking for the time when enterprise-grade solutions are available more at the consumer level. So, regular people like you and me, at home can protect ourselves where we don't have like a huge team of different analysts and layers of security. So, yeah, definitely, that's a good point.
Yeah, I just had to buy a new dishwasher, and I was surprised that it wasn't internet enabled. Thank God. Because when I bought a washing machine a few years ago, literally, it was internet enabled. For what reason, I have no idea. But, it's just one more device that could, right, it's So I was so happy that I asked the guy, it isn't internet enabled. He said, why would your dishwasher be internet enabled? And I said, exactly. So,
well, what if you're sitting on the couch and you just don't want to get up to push the go wash button, or but you probably have your phone with you, or something like that. But you're right. Having too many devices that don't really have a reason for having, like internet connectivity, actually have it, could represent a danger on your home network. Those devices can also become compromised, and even the story Mike talked about earlier with TrickBot. I know their TrickBot is like spreading to servers and things in an automated fashion via SMB, but I'm actually worried about the day when threats like TrickBot will spread to your IoT devices at home or infect your TV and use that as like a reflector, because there's no way you can install AV on your TV realistically. So those are the scary times ahead of us. Now I'm a doomsday sayer. Well, thank you guys. I think some great conversation here out of the internet weather. And I think definitely every time I look at the top 10 ports that are being targeted, it kind of causes me to rethink, the security of even my own personal home network and what I have exposed on the internet, and making sure that, there's no ports open even on my modem or my router at home. So.